What's up, everybody? It's Dean Nelson with eXp Realty. Me and my father Jay are realtors, developers, and builders here in Middle Tennessee with over 1,450 properties sold. Today's video is going to be a quick market snapshot and update for all of y'all on what's happening here in Middle Tennessee with the housing market. We're going to briefly go over some statistical changes in the pricing as well as my thoughts and a general overview of what's going on. So let's get into it. Just want to start off by saying it's a beautiful day here in Goodlettsville, Tennessee. Thank y'all for joining me. We're going to start by talking about a brief overview of what's happened over the last month and few weeks. So, last market snapshot, the market was facing higher interest rates that we've been looking at since around May. Earlier in the year, it's been a little slow. We've been seeing lots of reductions, picky buyers, etc. Lots of markets that maybe are not looking at gains this year, maybe a little bit of reductions, etc. Basically, the rates popped up due to a number of reasons, from tariffs to revised job reports, etc. Now, lately, we had a good jobs report that has led rates to come down, as well as the anticipation of Jerome Powell calling for reduced interest rates on September 17th. We're looking at an 80% chance of a 0.25 basis points decrease, and I think it was 10 to 15% chance of a 50% decrease. That was a bit of a increase from a few days ago. On Sunday, it was only 8%. So we're definitely looking at Jerome calling for reduced rates. That's what everybody's predicting, at least. And so we're seeing mortgage rates reduce greatly. They're predicting that that's what's going to happen, so they're already dropping rates. So we've seen things like rates go from 6.75s down to 6.3s, even 6.29. So I think that it's going to be critical over the next few months to see what happens with pricing. I think the market is going to be in a much better position in terms of gains to be made, demand increasing, more buyers getting out there, and I actually think rates will continue to fall over the year. So without further ado, let's check out what each individual market is looking like performance-wise. So our first city is going to be Nashville, Davidson County. Of course, it's going to have a little bit of variance because you have condos and many different home types, but actually this is only going to be single-family residence. There is still large variance in price points. You can have things as little as $350, $300, and things as expensive as $1 million plus, as you know. So keep in mind that these stats should be mostly accurate over many different closings. Our year-over-year price is going to be an 8% increase in Nashville, from $573 to $620, and that's going to be congruent with our month-over-month, which is a 7% increase from $580 to $620. So it looks like $620 is going to be our median price point here in the Nashville markets. Moving on, we have Murfreesboro, Tennessee, with a year-over-year price increase of 6% from $539 to $565, and then a month-over-month 8% decrease from $499,900 to $459. Seeing a little bit of stability around that $460, $455 price range, and again, I believe pricing is going to be on the up and up over the next year. Our next city is going to be Franklin, Tennessee. This is located in Williamson County. It's a very sought-after area, and our year-over-year, we're looking at a 14% decrease in price from $1,050,000 down to $900,000, and then our month-over-month decrease of 9% from $990,000 to $900,000. Now we're seeing some consolidation around that $900,000 price point, so I think that is going to, we have a lot of supportive levels in that range. So I think, again, with the better interest rates, we're going to see nothing but increase from here on out. Brentwood, Tennessee, also located in mostly Williamson County, partially in Davidson. Again, a very sought after area, but very variable in pricing. You can have, the non-Williamson County corridors can be less expensive, and then you have some of the most expensive neighborhoods in Tennessee in Brentwood. Overall, though, we have a 27% year-over-year price increase from $1.32 million to $1.445, and then we have a month-over-month 2% decrease from $1.5 million down to $1.475. So again, we're seeing support even in this high interest rate environment around that 1.445 range as a median price point. And again, Brentwood is not too interest rate reliant. It's a very cash heavy market, and so not as dependent on what rates are doing, but still does matter to kind of some of the entry level points. Hendersonville, Tennessee is going to be our next city with a 9% increase from 520 to 565, and that's year-over-year increase. And then a month-over-month of 1% increase from 557 to 565, again with a very sizable supportive price point around 565. And again, last month we saw nothing but on the up for Hendersonville. Great city, survived great with the high interest rate environments, and I think is going to be looking at some nice sizable gains here in the future as well. Our next city is going to be Mount Juliet, Tennessee. This is located east of Nashville, land between the lakes. It saw a year-over-year of 3% increase on price from 600 to 615, and a month-over-month 10% decrease from 648 down to 585. So we saw some nice gains over the last year from last month with Mount Juliet, but it looks like it has seen a little bit of a correction with the latest data. But again, with the new rates, I'd be curious to see what next month looks like. Moving on, we have Spring Hill, which is going to be located in mostly Williamson County, partially in Maury County as well. That leads to a little bit of variance in pricing, but our year-over-year has a 2% increase from 594 to 605, and then a month-over-month of 6% increase from 560 to 592. Looks like that market is doing very well in this current interest rate environment, and again, I see nothing but gains in its future. Lebanon, Tennessee saw a 10% increase year-over-year from 425 to 468, and a 1% increase month-over-month from 445 to 450, means that it has had a solid, it's retained its value, gained a little bit over the last period, and so with a better interest rate environment, I see nothing but upwards potential and momentum with them. Our next city is going to be Smyrna, Tennessee, and these stats they're pretty unfortunate. I love that area. I think it's beautiful. It's got a lot of growth potential. The commercial's been exploding over there, but all of these numbers are unfortunately red, as you can see on my email report. But Smyrna is going to have a year-over-year price decrease of 12% from 498 to 439, and a month-over-month 9% decrease from 480 to 435. Pretty stark decreases on Smyrna, which is unfortunately in line with the last report as well. Leads me to wonder what is going on in that market, because I love the houses over there. When I look at comps, nothing too crazy is going on, so I wonder if it's just a variance in some of the larger parcels and stuff. We're looking at a pretty solid amount of closings, 90 and 98 respectively from month to year over year, so it's not a lack of sample size. So let's keep an eye on Smyrna for next month. Moving on, we have Columbia, which is going to be located south of Nashville. We have a year-over-year 3% decrease in price from 450 down to 415, but a monthly increase of 6% from 390 to 415, again showing some consolidation around the 415 price point. Good support there. I love the market. I think it's got nothing but great potential from here forward with the new softening interest rates and increased buyer demand. Our next city is going to be Gallatin, Tennessee, which has seen a 6% decrease year-over-year in price from 480 to 453, and a 13% decrease month-over-month from 505 to 440. I love the area. I think it's a great spot. We, again, have a great sample size on closings there. It had a little bit of a shaky year, but I think it's going to have great returns and good momentum in this new, better environment for sellers. Moving on, we have La Vergne, Tennessee, located southeast of Nashville. Had a 2% decrease from 375 to 366 year over year, and a month-over-month decrease of 6% from 386 down to 364. Again, this is a great first-time home buyer market, great value-oriented entry price points, and so I think with better interest rates, this market is going to see some serious recovery in terms of gains over the next year. Our next city is going to be Thompson Station. Now, keep in mind with these stats that Thompson Station has some incredible neighborhoods, very high-end luxury communities, as well as some value-oriented, more towards the 7 and 8s in pricing. And so these stats are definitely skewed, because you can have some $6 million houses messing with the comps of mostly 8, 9s, millions, etc. So, but we'll still report on it with a 41% year-over-year increase from 921,000 to 1.3 million, and a 36% month-over-month increase from 850,000 to 1.15 million. Now we have Goodlettsville, Tennessee. This is where we currently live. We love this area. Great land, farms, as you can see. And the year over year, we're looking at an 18% decrease from 490 to 402, and then a month over month of 2% increase from 406 to 415. Now, the stats are also extremely variable out here because you can have things that don't have a ton of land, a bit on the smaller side, around that 300-ish, 350 price points. Then you can have some gargantuan large properties with massive acreage that are, you know, $1 million plus. But I think the market's doing great over here. We love it. I think it's awesome. All right, everybody. Our last city is going to be Fairview, Tennessee, located in Williamson County, southwest of Nashville. Y'all, this is going to be a fantastic area. I love it. But these stats are variable because some of the more entry-level price points over there are going to be things that need work. Remodel, again, Williamson County, so very sought after. And you can see things in the 350s. And then you also have new construction ranging from 6 to $1 million plus, 600,000 to $1 million plus. But the stats are going to be 19% decrease in price year over year from 620 to 500, and a month over month decrease of 31% from 700 to 485. So again, take those stats with, you know, whatever. They're not super accurate. Call me for the value of your home if you live in a hypersensitive market or any of these markets. Guys, my overall thoughts right now is that this market is about to open up in the best of ways for sellers and buyers alike. Buyers that have been waiting for better interest rates to get out there and really find the right home for them, I think are going to start to get more active. And sellers that have been waiting for those buyers to get more active, I think the listings are going to start getting more showings, more offers, and starting to move a little bit more. If you have questions on your home or anything real estate Middle Tennessee, give me a call at 615-987-7536. We ended last year number 3 in the state with eXp Realty and number 122 in the company. We would love to help you. I answer my phone. Give me a call. Shoot me a text. Test me out. I'd love to help. Thanks so much and have an absolutely wonderful rest of your week, month, and year. Hope to connect with you soon.